100 episodes of the Houston Texans franchise. I can't say I have anything special planned for this episode, but we'll see what the Texans have in store. Welcome everybody back to the series. It's the 2032 season, and it's starting pretty much where it ended last year. We lost the Super Bowl, of course, to the Green Bay Packers, and who did the schedule give us to start the season? It's going to start against this team once again. Although, we might be a bit of a different team since that Super Bowl after losing a number of players in the last episode in free agency. The offensive line is going to have 3 new starters this season. Do we see a major downgrade for the running game? Are we good enough here? I mean, we have an okay offensive line. We have Robert Penn, who's getting older, Frank Banyard at 82 overall. I do want Banyard to be the number 1 running back, and then we have Penn getting the third down snaps. So I'm a bit worried about just sacks, the running game in general. Not too worried about the passing game because we have best receiver in the game. We have Shadon Roseman, one of the best quarterbacks. Cassius Fowler, Amari Jones. There's plenty of playmakers. And then defensively, we of course no longer have the dominant front 4, but still have 3 players from that core. We added a new player in the draft, Thurman Callaway, first round pick. We ended up drafting him with the first round pick we got in the Mekhi Becton deal. There was some interesting feedback too about maybe moving Marshall Bernard to linebacker. I think that's something that could work. I do want to play him at safety to start. I think he's still going to play a lot of snaps because Tatum will go to linebacker for many snaps and Bernard should at least be getting half the snaps or so. We'll track the snap counts and everything, but he should be out there. Our goal today is to get through the entire season. Not the playoffs necessarily. If we make a run, then we'll definitely want to take a look at what's going on. I might jump into a few of these matchups and play out a little bit just like I did in that one long sim where we watched a quarter of the Raiders game. If there's a game that I think is intriguing, then we'll have a chance to do that. And as a matter of fact, our season starts with one. Green Bay has actually won the last 2 Super Bowl titles in the series. They are the team to beat, at least in the NFC. We're hoping that the Texans are still the team to beat in the AFC after their Super Bowl appearance. Now keep in mind we are trying to get through the entire regular season today at least. So mostly going to be simulating in these games, and then if it's interesting late, then we check out some more gameplay. But nothing on the first drive of the year for the Houston offense. Green Bay really did a good job against our defense in that Super Bowl. I did not think they would play that well. Ooh, we're moving the football here. 22 to Robert Penn. Let's score. Touchdown, Frank Banyard. Whoa, I simmed too quickly. I have no idea what happened. That would be a 47-yard touchdown to George Ingram. Green Bay, though, looking for an answer, and they're going backwards suddenly. They're at our 23, and Stahl getting just 3. Green Bay has it again inside the 10, and this time they do get their first touchdown, and now it's a 17-10 game. Robert Penn getting all these receiving yards. We're in the second half, by the way, 24-17. Looks like we're moving the football pretty well. I can't wait to check out the stats at the end of this. 16 to Ingram, then losing 4. And losing 4 again, and then 4 more. How do you do that? Down 10, Green Bay driving. They have a touchdown to make this a 3-point game. Let's get on to the field now. 27-24 in week 1. Houston from the 25-yard line. It's going to be Frank Banyard going backwards. He's at 45 yards on 14 carries. 25 rushes to 25 passes today. Now a throw on 3rd and 7. It's caught. That's Amari Jones for the first. Only 247 yards. Felt like it was more for Roseman. Only 2 catches for Jones. Running this to the right side. There goes Robert Penn. Nice blocking by Paul Sears, and Penn has 13 more. Another run going to Robert Penn, and this time Green Bay is there to make the play. It's 3rd down and 9. Packers trying to get it back. They're only down 3. Texans at midfield. Huge play here. It's Rosemond. He gets it away, but felt the rush and had to throw it out of bounds. Defense has to make some plays here down the stretch, and Green Bay will get a 1st down here. It's Lowry with his 10th catch of the ball game. He made some plays against us in the Super Bowl. Him and George Jones were pretty solid. Not getting much pressure here. Duran's throwing downfield, and that's wide open behind Lynn Cox. 1st down to Killings at the 17. How did he get so open? He's here inside, and they basically have a little pick set up here. Nice setup, and that's going to be easy separation down the field. Setting up the screen on 2nd down, and a penalty marker is down. Nice job by Miles, and I didn't see a hit on Duran. That's got to be a hold, right? Or an eligible downfield. That rarely gets called in this game unless it's on an RPO. Nice job here by Miles. Again, good running up to the 11. So if the Texans make a play here, looking at possibly a tie game. 3rd down and 4. And the pressure getting there late. Who got Jabari Carr's number? I don't think I'm ready to give up 96 quite yet. So we're all tied up. 2 minutes to go. Can we beat the Packers this time in their house? Starting with the 1st down run, and Robert Penn just keeps running hard. 2nd down and 7. Rosemond's going to throw it and completes for a 1st down. That is Sears. How do you not give us the 1st down there? Just like the Super Bowl. Rosemond had it knocked down by Bennett. Oh, and you're telling me George Ingram suffered an injury? So, I don't know what's going to happen here, but we might not have him for the end of the game. I don't want to lose to this team again. 1:20 left to go. Here comes the pressure. Duran has to throw it away. And now Beverly is shaken up. No pressure until late, and Duran takes off. He's chased by Ferris. Lost the football. Texans have it. That is how you chase the quarterback right there. What a play by Ferris. We've gone through so many games on the channel. I haven't seen a play like this. Ferris ends up putting a little pressure here on Duran, and he looks like he's about to get the 1st down. And Ferris just DK Metcalfs and gets him from behind. The ball comes out. No, was he down? When is the ball actually coming out? Because I think the ball starts to move before he goes down. It stands. I don't care if that's a bad call. We have like a few that we're owed. Short field. Run it. Banyard. Got a block. Spins outside. Getting 5. Green Bay's out of timeouts. We can take this down to about 17 seconds after Banyard gets to the 21. 17 seconds. Ryan Ford kicks it through. Now just don't mess it up. How about Russ Watson getting down there to make the tackle? Let's go. I love that. This team's playing hard. 10 seconds to go. Don't screw it up. Everybody in tight for Green Bay. They got to get out of bounds with this. Not like that. Last play right here. Deep ball. Duran. Broken up, I think. Yes. And the Texans have defeated the Green Bay Packers. Couldn't do it in the Super Bowl. We get it done today. Good first step this season. Roseman had 2 touchdowns and no interceptions. We intercepted Dale Duran twice in this game and did a good job in run defense. Our running game was okay. 90 yards on 28 attempts is nothing special, but it's also not like completely useless. 300-yard receivers, George Ingram, looks like a minor injury. Robert Penn, really good receiving. He just continues to make plays. And then for the defense, a sack for Ferris and a forced fumble. Marshall Bernard picks up the interception in his debut, and then Alfonso Gresham gets one. And if you're wondering how the snap count works with this safety setup I have, Bernard in this game played 69 snaps. Nice. Let's give Cassius Fowler a blocking upgrade just because the offensive line has taken a downgrade. Traylon Alexander back. He will become a focus player again as we try to make sure we have this secondary strong enough for those tough matchups. Looks like today was a success. We'll see exactly how much these young players can develop. I think we had an interesting draft class, but is there enough impact there for a team where we are, where we're trying to win a championship? Do these players get us any closer? I'm not really sure that's the case. More so, I think it's making sure that as holes inevitably show up on this team, we're not forced to desperately fill them in free agency. And hopefully after a couple of years, some of these players would be ready to step in. I literally have one option when it comes to George Ingram. I have to go with the physical archetype. What happens when that one is a 99? Here are the ratings, by the way. That's pretty good. Alright, everybody, that is it for today. Just kidding, we have at least 15 more games to go. Next one against the Colts. And that takes the excitement down a bit. 42-21, Indianapolis wins. Mitchell Holiday, he's playing? KJ Mentor played 2. 3 total touchdowns, 2 for Roseman. I don't know who started, but Mitchell Holiday actually got on the field. They didn't run the ball well, we didn't either, but another 100-yard receiver allowed by this defense. Ooh, we're giving up some pressure here too. That's 5 sacks to Indianapolis. Ferris picked up a couple. We like that, of course. Maybe 6. I think I missed one. The younger brother of Amari Jones. We have Courtney Jones, who already got some mentorship from his big brother last episode. And I do think that he's going to have basically the same play style. I think here we can do whatever we want. I'm going to go with a physical upgrade, though. Overall's not going up. We get that catch in traffic, though, which I was hoping for. Greg Bailey's interesting here because his skill set is like all pass blocking. He's not a great run blocker. That's going to get better with these upgrades. I don't think I have to do specifically pass protector upgrades. I really like this skill set here for just a pass blocking tackle, and there's a possibility I'd be willing to play him at some point. All depends on how the other tackles are doing, but I mean, he could potentially take over for good just because of the pass blocking eventually. A breakout chance for Traylon Alexander. He just came back from injury. He wants that star development. That would be massive. A quick look at this upcoming draft class, by the way. We have the number 1 player, quarterback Luke Gilmore, Jordan Holloway, pass rusher, Chris Porter, pass rusher, Bryce Cochran, also a pass rusher, then Leslie Boston, J.R. Ford, Ross Hogue, Braxton Bruton. We have a lot of different positions here at the top of the board. I love seeing that. Only 2 first-round receivers, and they're very different receivers. That's fantastic. This looks like a really balanced sort of draft class. Scouting top players that aren't quarterbacks. You never know, and I have no idea how good of a team we're going to be this year. And these players are not overrated. Had to score a lot. It took overtime, but the Texans do beat the Cleveland Browns 37-31. Don't like having to score this much to win, but Roseman 4 touchdowns, only sacked twice. We're going to have these games where he takes over. Running game did a pretty good job. George Ingram, 162 and 2. Fowler scores as well, and Robert Penn continues to catch the ball well. Dante Fry, 12 tackles. He was ready to face his former team. 1.5 sacks for Stephon Ferris, and he might be the defensive MVP early in the season. Callaway picks up a sack. Beverly, Hillhouse, Bernard gets half. Now, Traylon Alexander had the goal. 7 tackles, no tackles for loss, no sacks, no interceptions, 1 deflection. And how many passing yards did Cleveland have? Enough. So I don't think he'll get the upgrade. I don't think I've seen too many classes like this in this game. There are only a couple players so far that are overrated in the top 15. You want early picks this year, it looks like. Upgrading Marshall Bernard. We're close to knowing his development, but he's certainly getting enough snaps this year. All right, Thurman Callaway had been given 96. Well, we made him a first-round pick. He's taking over for Jabari Carr. He can have 96. All right, we're 2-1. If we want to be a playoff team again, we have to beat teams like the winless Jaguars. Oh, well, that was easy. 35-3, 160 yards of offense. Matt Taylor, not a good day. He was sacked 6 times. Rosemond, another day, another 4-touchdown performance. Banyard, 78 and a touchdown. Love that. Ingram scores twice. Jones scores once. Fowler found the end zone. And Stephon Ferris, Defensive Player of the Year candidate. 3 sacks, 2 for Hillhouse. Pick for Marshall Bernard. And now let's check the development. The rookie seems to be off to a very good start. Ooh, superstar development. And playing like a superstar to start his career. Adrian Payton was going to get a chance if we didn't draft somebody like Bernard, but there's always next year, honestly, because Woodyard probably is only here for a season, and then Bernard goes strong safety. Payton becomes the next backup safety part-time starter, possibly. Really want to see Traylon Alexander get to star development. Hopefully he gets another chance. 83 zone though, 91 speed at this point. It's a 4-1 start for Houston. 36-17, easily beating the New England Patriots. Defense puts up another really good performance. 3 scores in this one for Shadon Rosemond. Jerry Alexander broke off a long run against us and scored. But how about the day here for Penn and Banyard? 38 combined carries, over 150 on the ground, 2 scores. And the passing game does a good job. Mari Jones leads the way this time. Ferris, 2.5 sacks. This is the best start to a season he's ever had. He's 30 years old in his 9th season and now has 10 sacks in 5 games, which is more than he's had in all but 1 season of his career. What a start. And he's got a streak going here. 5 games in a row with at least 1, and 4 with at least 1.5. Philip Jenkins has a nice balanced skill set. Nothing here is super weak and needs to be worked on. He should be a really solid guard, even though he does not have hidden development. Strength goes up, that's very nice. Now it's a 5-1 start. We can't stop scoring. This is incredible. We struggled here against the Colts, but in every other game, at least 30 points, with an offense whose offensive line got worse in the offseason. But Roseman's playing really well. That hasn't changed. Jackson has a pretty decent game here as well. Banyard and Penn are still a really good tandem. I like what we've done the last 2 years with them. George Ingram, 69 and a touchdown. Dante Hairston, 5 for 53. Traylon Alexander gets the interception this time. And unfortunately, the streak for Ferris comes to an end. So we know we're certainly not going to be sellers at the deadline. But let's take a look at the contracts to take care of for this year. And I've taken a look already. It's not going to be too intense. Alfonso Gresham, Otis Woodyard, probably a tag and trade candidate. Only 26 years old. But really, this is not going to be a tough offseason at all. Wow, not often you have these early prospects that aren't only overrated, but have undrafted talent. Our success against Doug Ward continues. It's an overtime win, 34 points. The streak of 30-point games continues. Ward is intercepted 3 times and sacked 7. Like, how does he not request a trade to anywhere else? Well, out of the AFC South. Roseman, 2 touchdowns, no picks. Another good day on the ground. Even though we have downgraded along the O-line, Banyard and Penn are still very productive. Joey Valentine, very nice day against us. Dante Hairston now over 100 yards. I don't think Fowler's hurt, but he's been out receiving him now for a couple games. Ferris got an interception! Defensive player of the year, it's over. Who's catching him? Right now we have the number 4 ranked offense in the NFL. And I think we'll actually have a good rushing offense. It's the best! That's not supposed to be the case. We are the 2nd highest scoring team right now. How about our defense? Not elite, for sure. But good enough when you have an elite offense. 19-3 for Rosemond. And then Banyard, 439, Penn, 357. So our averages are down. But we're just in a spot where we can afford to run, even though it doesn't work fantastic. So, still got to think about running backs, I think, for the future. And keep working on the O-line. George Ingram, very good season again. And I just can't believe what Stephon Ferris is doing this season. This is unbelievable. A new injury, though. And it's to Cassius Fowler, so he did get hurt. Upper arm fracture. Dante Hairston takes over. And we'll bring in a veteran tight end as well for some depth, Jeremiah West. Well, we're on a roll right now, and at week 8, we have a matchup going on the road to take on the Chicago Bears, both teams with just 1 loss. Here in the 4th quarter, we have just gone up by 2 touchdowns after a 48-yard touchdown to George Ingram, and the Bears are currently down 28-14. Stephon Ferris already has a sack in this game. And on 1st and 10, the Bears will have a completion and a first down up to the 40-yard line. Damon Price, still the quarterback in Chicago. Really got to make this drive count. Price on target. Nice move. Whoa. Alexander went flying. Ferris almost got there. That's a catch somehow. Bernard over the top, but cannot make the play. 5.5 to go in this one, and Price completes it. Nice catch and run, taking it inside the 15. Here's Damon Price facing a 3rd down. He's hit by Lehman, and the pass is caught for a touchdown! I thought he stepped out of bounds. For now, The Bears have made it a one-score game. And it stands. So we got to hold on here for 5 minutes. Here is Rosemond. He throws it out to Dante Hairston. And I thought he was going to stay on his feet there. 4 minutes to go in the game. Pressure's there. Rosemond stays on his feet. Gets away for a moment and then is sacked. I thought we were going to get a highlight play. A Russell Wilson play. Rosemond 3rd and 13. Throwing down the middle. It's caught by Ingram, and that will get the first down. Handoff, Banyard. Not much there as we go to the 2-minute warning. I do not want the Bears to have the ball again in a one-score game. Rosemond, flag down. This one is a pass interference. We're getting calls to go our way now. This is incredible. And a wide open lane. Robert Penn, first down. Handoff, open space, one man to beat, and Penn is taken down. Penn takes it right, gets the first down, and that is going to be the ball game. The Houston Texans keep on winning. Now kick a field goal. I don't want the streak to end. We're only at 28. Don't worry, I got this one. Houston, 31 points on the board. Another impressive win, and this offense looks as good as they ever have in this series. Now, the defense is taking a step back. I think we're becoming more of an offensive football team, and it's given us a 6-1 start, so I'm not complaining. But we're going to have to do a bit better, I think, against some of these teams. Eventually, the offense is going to have a down day, and you want the defense to be able to pick them up. Coming out of our bye week now, do you think Doug Ward is happy to see us? Doug Ward got us this time. 30-24, we lose in overtime. Doug Ward has conquered the Houston Texans. 4 touchdowns, 2 sacks. I didn't think he had it in him. Very nice performance. Hairston's doing a really good job. Travis Finnegan, it's always the tight ends. Gave up a lot of sacks in this game too, unfortunately. Ferris picked up one though. How good is this NFC North? The Packers have won 2 titles. The Bears were a one-loss team until just a couple weeks ago. And now the 8-1 Vikings are coming to town. And it's our first losing streak now. Again, there are some issues with this defense, and that's strange for this series. Jake Lowry has a solid performance. They ran the ball well enough. We did not at all. DJ Morris. He's been really fun to watch develop in this series. Trayvon Watkins, 12 catches, 99 yards, 2 touchdowns. We can't cover tight ends. Still. Just tell me if Ferris got a sack today. That's all I care about now. And he did not. Hopefully we can get this defense a little bit better. Upgrading Traylon Alexander should help. All this playing time has been great for Dante Hairston. He's been really productive, and we'll work on that blocking a little bit. All right, we end the losing streak. We didn't have a great offensive day, and the defense played better. But the Jaguars don't seem to be a very good team this year, so I want to see us play this well against a better opponent. But we stopped the run. Titus McCray, he's a really good running back, so I'm happy about that. Robert Penn, 83 yards receiving. Of course, leading receivers a tight end against us. Not much in this one, though. Ingram did find the end zone at least. Stephen Brown struggled, allowing 3 sacks. Ferris got half. Marshall Bernard, another interception. Doctors are clearing Cassius Fowler a bit ahead of schedule, but I'm not taking any chances with the team at 8-3. If the season ended now, we'd be the 2 seed. I want that number 1. And by the way, we're close to taking care of this division. 2 more wins and it's over. We beat the Lions, going 3-1 against the NFC North. 3 touchdowns, Thad Hamilton. I have not heard of him in this series. Shadon Roseman, no touchdowns in this game, also no interceptions. Robert Penn scores twice. Banyard found the end zone. A better day here for the running game, and a better day for George Ingram. Love that. Carl Whiteside. I'm curious how he's developed in this series. And Ferris 1.5, of course. Jake LeClaire gets a pick. But the NFC North is pretty good too. Poor Detroit. I mean, this isn't even fair. Then you have the NFC West, and I'm not sure any of these teams should be in the playoffs. They all have a negative point differential, and not just like a couple points. These teams are all legitimately trash. New injury, Lynn Cox, 3 weeks, dislocated elbow. Secondary getting weaker here for the stretch run to the playoffs. We have a deal done with Gordon Ramsay. He was looking for 2 years, 12.8. We just signed him to 4 years, and I already forgot how much it is. Like 30 million. So there are the cap numbers, not too bad. He's been solid and is nowhere near his regression years. So that deal is done. There's not a lot else that I think has to be done in season. And the Houston Texans are your AFC South champions. We defeat the Indianapolis Colts. 4 touchdowns for Roseman, and Mitchell Holliday is actually the starting quarterback. Took a long time. George Ingram, 2 touchdowns, $113 receiving. Love to see it. And Ferris gets a half sack. I'm telling you, he's got to be Defensive Player of the Year. Tatum gets an interception. Maybe a quieter season for him, but I'm not worried about it. How about a 16-3 win against the Raiders? Another win against them? Very low scoring. I wanted to see our defense do well against a good team, and we certainly did. Cassius Fowler's back, 673-1 in his return. That's a really impressive win. Ferris gets a sack. New injury though, and now Justin Frost is going to miss some time. He is a backup linebacker. We do lose a close game to a very good Bengals team, 24-21. So we have 11 wins on the year. Roseman throws 3 touchdowns. He gets sacked 5 times in this game. Running game was decent. Jason Fitzgerald, good game against us. Ingram scores twice. Brian Hill had a really big day and only 1 sack for our defense in this game. If the season ended now, we'd still be the 2 seed, and after losing to the Bengals, I think that pretty much seals it. I don't think we can get to the number 1 seed regardless of what happens in this week. Or actually, if we win and they lose. So who has to help us out, ending their 7-game winning streak? Cleveland. That's not a bad team. Help us out. Thank you, Cleveland. 21-14 over Cincinnati. This is a dominant showing for their defense. Joe Burrow had 2 touchdowns, only 178 yards. Thank you to the Cleveland Browns. You hardly won down the stretch. Somehow you pulled this off. Meanwhile, the Houston Texans also won their Week 17 game. We got a first-round bye, everybody. 3 scores for Roseman. Pittsburgh picked up Deshaun Watson in the offseason, and we get the win. Penn 52 and a touchdown. Ingram a touchdown. Jones 2. Herb Smith 2. Come on, Ferris, 1 more. 2 more! I was just hoping we'd be a good team. Turns out it's one of the best seasons of the series. We get a first-round bye. Unbelievable. Broncos are the 2. Bengals drop all the way to the 3, having to face Patrick Mahomes in the wild card round. In the NFC, the Washington football team is the number 1 seed. You have Green Bay and Minnesota back, better than last year, while Chicago makes it as the 7. What a season here for Houston. The playoff run should be a lot of fun. Roseman, 36-7. He was sacked 42 times. And compared to past seasons, that is actually in line, honestly. So offensive line investment hasn't been worth it. Frank Banyard, 3.5 a carry. Robert Penn, 3.6. It's just because we ran the ball so much that we end up with 1,500 plus rushing yards as a team and 20 plus touchdowns. We weren't actually great at it, and no big runs either. George Ingram, 15 touchdowns, 1,263 yards. Jones, 813. And then a gap between him and everybody else. Not bad for Robert Penn, though. That's impressive. How about the sacks allowed? 11 for both Stephen Brown and Leslie Good. But what did Mekhi Becton do with the Cowboys? He allowed 2. Now he's playing at an elite level. And defensively, 19 sacks for Stephon Ferris, 69 tackles, and an interception. He better be Defensive Player of the Year. Cordell Hillhouse gets 13 sacks, 7.5 for Allen Beverly. And then that third spot that was kind of split between Thurman Callaway and Tevin Hart did not get a lot of pass rush production. 4 picks for Marshall Bernard. That leads the team. We had Tatum get 7 a year ago. He comes back with 3. Still decent. Okay, DeJuan McCutcheon, a kick return touchdown. That's impressive. I like that. All right, league leaders now. We have 40 touchdowns for Damon Price and Gregory Batten, year 2, putting up 40 and 4. That's ridiculous. Rushing, Roy Miles, number 1. Jerry Alexander, 5.7 a carry. Manny Grubbs on the 1 seed Washington football team, 974. I like Glenn Barkley. I kind of wish I had just traded for him. I wonder if he'd even be good on our team, though. And then Daniel Blue, 908, 1 touchdown. That's it. 1 touchdown on 200 plus carries. But he finally got his chance. And you know what? He wasn't bad. Jerry Jeudy, leading receiver. Ingram barely missing out. This is so clustered here. Justin Jefferson, 1 yard away. Tyreek Fowler, 2 yards away. Come on. Devin Macklin, 1231. He's in San Francisco now. Oh, that's right. It's candidate that I traded to the Jets, right? So D-Mac here with the 49ers, putting up his best season of his career. Now, how about the sack leaders? Stephon Ferris, most in the AFC. Dante Fry, 4 picks. He had a really nice season. In the NFC, 6 picks gets number 1. And then for sacks, nobody was over Ferris. I want to see Defensive Player of the Year. Josh Allen is MVP. Gregory Batten in year 2, 2nd place. Cliff Kingsbury with the Washington football team, Coach of the Year. William Lindsley's in 3rd. All right, AFC Offensive Player of the Year, Gregory Batten. But not the MVP, Josh Allen. Defensive Player of the Year, Stephon Ferris brings it to Houston. What a season for him. I mean, he had that huge play in week 1. I wanted to make him the thumbnail after that. And then he goes off, gets 18 sacks the rest of the way. I mean, that is just too perfect. Kevin Barnett, Rookie of the Year. Marshall Bernard, Defensive Rookie of the Year. Gregory Batten, Best Quarterback. Robert Penn, Best Running Back. George Ingram, Best Receiver. Stephon Ferris. This is a fun team. Dante Fry leaves and brings home the hardware. Here are the NFC awards. I want to see more of these players from our team that left. We know at least one had a really good season. Two, actually. Mekhi Becton was fantastic, it appears. Don't know why it didn't work out here. Jabari Carr in a Kansas City uniform. He ended up having 6 sacks this year, a bit of a drop-off from where he's been in his last stretch of seasons with the Texans. Kurt Reiner is down to an 86 overall, not very steep regression, and he's been in Chicago now for 2 seasons, and just this past year had 2 picks and 7.5 sacks to go with 108 tackles. Kerry Borden was a part of our original draft class. As a matter of fact, he might have been our first ever draft pick, but he hasn't been on the team in a really long time. Yeah, 3rd round pick. That was our first pick, I believe, in that draft. Part of why I took over this team is because they were so set up poorly for the draft and I wanted that challenge. Ever since he went to Dallas, he's just been a solid average to above average starter, it looks like. Antonio Werner just never was able to be one of our top 3 receivers, and the Dolphins signed him this year, and he put up a very impressive season, 872 yards and 8 touchdowns receiving. A lot of people were sad when we moved on from Jermaine Candidate, who's now 32 years old, and he's been with the Jets now for 5 seasons. After posting a couple 1,000-yard years with us, he hasn't done that again, but it looks like he's still a decent deep threat. Although, the yards per reception's going down. Justin Johnson is an elite player, and we traded him to Carolina last year. In these 2 seasons, he's put up 2 of his better pass rushing seasons, and I'm sure the run defense is still as good as ever. Manny Grubbs is up to an 87 overall. He's still only 28 years old. He was young when we drafted him. He's played for Washington now for 5 years. He's been there longer than he was ever in Houston. And the averages are still under 4 yards a carry. So it looks like he's still just a lower tier starting running back. Tevin Tyson was just one of those players we could no longer afford to have on the team, and he's spent the last 2 years in New Orleans, collecting only 1 interception in those 2 years. At the same time, the Saints have Josh Richards, somebody we once had very high expectations for in this series, but never really put up the sack production. Went to New Orleans, had 1 year where he broke out for 10.5, and then just a couple sacks here and there, and that's on a huge contract. I hope you all enjoyed today's episode, episode 100 in the series. But next episode, we get back to the playoffs, 1 game at a time. And in the divisional round, our playoff journey will start against the Los Angeles Chargers, the 7-seed team that beat the Broncos. The Bengals won their game easily and moved on to the 2nd round, while they'll face the Baltimore Ravens. In the NFC, Dallas beat Seattle easily. The NFC West was terrible. The Vikings beat the Panthers 49-23, and Green Bay beat Chicago. The defending champs are still in it. They'll take on Minnesota. We got a great final 8 teams here. So here's the team we're up against next. We don't know this team at all. The Chargers have been not very relevant in the series. I don't know who John Meeks is, but he had a fantastic playoff game. And I'm happy to not face Gregory Batten. 40 touchdowns, 4 picks, 2nd year. Yeah, I don't want to mess with that. Eugene Seawright. That's a George Ingram stat line. I'm also happy to not face Miles Burse. I'm glad the Chargers won this game, but let's take a look at their roster. Keenan Rudd, Nick Bosa, of course, so some players in this front 4 that can be problems, Walt Wilbon included. Eugene Seawright, 93 overall from Louisiana Tech. Speed, route running, just low release. Trey Davis, Jack Rainey, Hayden Knowles. Matthew Jenkins. Kenneth Murray is still on the team, one of the players from year one. He might be the only one. And John Meeks is the quarterback here, 76 overall. He is in his 7th year out of Colorado. Better downfield passer than underneath, 83 under pressure, just okay mobility, enough to escape the pocket. And he's just been a journeyman backup who's gone from Cincinnati to the Raiders to the Titans and then the Chargers. Team number 5, first chance to start after being an undrafted quarterback. That's a pretty good career. Matthew Jenkins, first year starting with the Chargers, 819 yards, 9 touchdowns this season. Outside of Seawright, they have the speedy Quincy Charlton at receiver. Looks like he's got solid hands, pretty good route runner as well. I'm looking forward to this matchup. I'm ready for more playoff action. This team seems to be so good. We were disappointed by how last year ended. Somehow it looks like this team is better. We have an explosive offense that put up a ton of points this season. I'd be shocked if anybody scored more than us, but a few teams did. Down the stretch, we scored a bit less. But this is certainly a great version of the Houston Texans. I just hope that the tackles can hold up when we're watching the games, and we can go on this run. Playoffs are back next episode, everybody. Thank you for watching today's video, and please leave a like if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel and let me know, how do you feel about our chances this year? Have a great day. Playoffs coming soon.